I mean, make no mistake, if a woman owes you money, you ain't getting that shit back.
No, because what are you gonna withhold sex from her?
You're like, you either give me $2,000 or I'm gonna stop slinging this cock
She's
your
like,
way.
absolutely no problem. I got a fucking Neuron 5000 under the bed that I can take out.
She's like, I got a vibrator that could be part of the military-industrial complex. I think I'll be fine.
It was developed in Berlin in 48.
Women now do just have vibrators where I'm like, if you send that to fucking Israel, I will protest it. You know? I'm like, would you fucking relax, babe? We are back with another motherfucking episode, and you better believe before I introduce my guests, we've got some housekeeping. Folks, I have not slept in 2 days because my life is falling apart, and when I put my head down on the pillow, I can't stop thinking about it at night. And so I might be a little bit out of it today, and I don't want to hear anything from it from any viewers, listeners, gays, they, thems, etc. Leave me alone yet again. And on a second note, before I introduce my guests here, you've noticed it. I've noticed it. We've all noticed it. I've been looking a little ugly recently. Okay, folks? It's not lost on me. I've been hitting the booze a little again, and I'm a little swollen and disgusting. And so to counterbalance my sheer loss of attractiveness, because the sands of time have indeed begun to wage war on these old bones, I'm joined today by a fucking sexy guy. He's a cutie, one of the best comedians in America, bitch. Clap your fucking hands in the studio audience, everybody, for Tommy Brennan.
I wish I kind of brought it. I didn't realize I was the hot piece of ass on this week's episode.
I've been thinking about that intro all day. I've been going, I'm going to call him a cutie pie.
Yes, I love it.
What I will tell you, Tommy, we got a lot of gay listeners, and they'll be commenting and going, let me see toes. Let me see
I gotta be careful here. I'm rocking some Birks with the toes out today.
Show the people the toes. Put it on camera there.
Oh, let's go. It's a decent foot. It's not great.
Nice
soccer,
foot, yeah.
You know.
Yeah, you got nice athletic feet. Move this in a little bit.
There we go. All right. The fit today is not great.
It's certainly groovy.
Here,
my guy just got back from a Grateful Dead concert.
I do. Yeah, I just don't know what I'm doing. This heat hit me.
Right.
I got to New York 4 days ago, and I came from colder weather areas.
Right.
And I'm not ready. I'm a jacket guy.
It's
actually, I have a couple. It's your fault. My fashion has been ruined by you.
Right.
In a very particular way. About 4
do?
years ago, you sent me a link to a red jacket with just a bright red jacket, and you said, if you don't buy this, I'm gonna buy it. You have 24 hours. And I bought it.
Threat from me.
And then I said, what do I wear with it? You said, these are the shoes you wear with it. You wear jeans, a white tee, and this red jacket. And I wore it every day for about a year.
Well, what I would like to say, Tommy, is I feel like your career really took off after that.
I think the jackets, because then now I own 55 jackets and I'm in credit card debt. And so you ruined my life in that regard, but I do think the jackets gave me a confidence on stage that I didn't have before that.
Right, and that's really, make no mistake, I will send a man straight into credit card debt.
Yes.
Like it's his ex-fucking wife. You have no clue how expensive these outfits are till you really buy one.
Brother, it is bad, but now in the summer months, I'm just lost, and I moved here and I haven't unpacked anything, so I just I couldn't wear jeans today. It's too hot. I didn't haul ass to the train. So I found these linen pants that I've worn once on the beach.
Tell the people about linen pants. We've never talked about linen on this episode, but linen is an unbelievable fabric. I'm so pro linen.
Well, here's the thing. You've told me you were pro linen for a while. You told me to get some linen. I don't know what it is. I don't know what to find. If you look up linen outfits for men. It's like you look like you're playing Jesus in a community theater production. So I never buy those. These I got in like a thrift store, and I was like, I think these are linen.
You are, can I be honest, bottom half, you are serving Jesus.
It is
You
very
are,
much Jesus.
you're up top, you're Jerry Garcia, you're down low, Jesus.
I don't know what I'm doing out here, man.
No, it is incredibly difficult to dress in the summer. We had a listener call in the last episode, Fat Guy,
Yes.
trying to figure out. Yeah,
I listened to this.
it's very difficult. You know, I struggle with it as well. Fortunately for me, I have an unbelievably tight body
You really do.
with just an incredible upper torso, and so a lot of like shirts fit well for me, and that really is the best thing you can do in the summer is work out relentlessly. But to do that, you do have to be unemployed.
Yeah, which I am. I mean, I've got that
Right, true,
in
actually.
the bank, or lack thereof. But I just have a weird. My torso hasn't changed since I was 13,
It's
and
okay.
I have no confidence in it. And you're wearing like a short shirt.
I am cropping now. Again, I'm just trying to show off a little bit of the body without being one of those guys who's absolutely whipping the body out. Because you never want to be a guy who's got his whole body out.
No,
You got to tease the body.
well, you got to kind of act like you don't know the body's there.
Yes.
You can't be like, this is the bod.
You kind of have to exist as a sort of a amorphous amoeba of human flesh, bones, and skin.
Yeah.
Now, Tommy, I do want to say thank you for coming on the pod today. I have a couple questions for you, and we're going to dive right in before we even go any further, because I actually have some more questions about the linen at the end here, sort of.
Okay, good, because I have one more fashion bone to pick with you.
Cool, we'll get to it.
All right.
The first question I have to ask you, Tommy, how many women did you grow up with?
I've got 6 sisters and an opinionated mother. So, however that math adds
So
up.
8.
Yeah.
A woman with opinions counts for 2.
Mhm.
What was that like growing up with all women?
I mean, you know, it was good in terms of like me getting attention. I was the boy in the middle of all of them.
Oh.
I was perceived as gay for most of my life.
Well, join the club,
yeah,
brother.
Exactly. I'm talking to myself here, but I mean, I think like, you know, they did open me up to a lot of stuff right away, like theater and shit like that, and
Right.
kind of not abiding by gender roles, and I appreciate that. But on the other hand, they turned me into one of the cattiest, pettiest little bitches you've ever met. My instinct whenever I get insulted or a slight hint of maybe a dig is to be like, how about this insane thing you're insecure about? How about I bring that up right now in front of our friends?
Well, that kind of makes you quick-witted on stage, maybe. You know, you're ready to destroy a heckler, per se.
Yeah, but a lot of times I will just get like really mean
Right.
away. You know, it's I'll go right for like, you know, you shouldn't be showing this much skin. You're fat and you live in the middle of Wisconsin. What are you doing, my guy?
Y'all are like the Wisconsin Kardashians.
For real. I mean, it's like, it's so crazy how petty we all are. I mean, I'd say this on stage, but even when we're trying to be nice to each other, it's crazy. Like, my sister literally did, like, a few weeks ago, text me out of the blue at 7 a.m. She's 35, has kids, well-adjusted human. She just texted me. She goes, I got hammered last night and almost missed my flight today. Really channeling your energy today.
Out of the blue.
I was just like, what the heck? She thought it was funny. And I was like, hey, I just woke up to you being like, man, I had one day where I felt like an irresponsible piece of shit. And I was like, well, that must be how Tommy lives his life every day.
I mean, the absolute
and we hadn't
disrespect.
talked in like a minute. Good to hear from you, Al.
Wait, so it was you and your dad were the only men in the
I
entire
have one
house.
brother too, but he's
Okay.
12 years older than me.
Okay, and he was kind of gone by the time you were...
Yeah, we didn't have like a brothers, like boys will be boys type brotherhood. It was
Right.
like he was almost more like an uncle. And now we're like super tight and friends and it rips. But yeah.
So you learned most of your childhood, you learned from women.
all of it. Yeah. Yes. My dad was working all the time. My mom was a stay-at-home mom, 6 sisters. It was all women.
Interesting. Now let me ask you this. When did you realize you might be a little bit of a sexy guy?
It happened late and it has ruined me because
You're sort of a late bloomer. I can feel it.
big late bloomer.
Right, me
I went
too.
through puberty my freshman year of college.
Me too, yeah.
Yeah. So it's like I went into senior year of high school at 5'3". That's not gonna set you up for
Oh,
you know,
really?
a lot of puss. Yeah.
5'3" in senior year.
5'3", and I was like, I think I'm gonna make varsity this year. I mean, the delusion was crazy. And so I kind of got put into like the friend zone, and I don't even like mean that in an incel way. Like, I don't blame them.
Right.
Like, you can't be a teen blossoming into womanhood and like pick the 5'3" kid who looks like he's 8.
Right.
You know, you're not gonna be like, let's lose the virginity to that guy.
Right. Fair.
So, and then college was just kind of weird. I was like figuring out who I was. I was going through puberty. I was like figuring out like how to party. I didn't like drink at all in high school, so it was like all that. So I kind of like I just kind of like ignored women for a little while.
Me too. Yeah.
And then comedy really is when it changed, because then I was like a full grown man finally, and I was getting attention for comedy.
Right.
So it kind of all happened at once, and I think deep in my brain, I don't believe that anyone actually finds me attractive. I think it's because of comedy.
Wow, that is incredibly
Because it happened
interesting.
at the same time.
Yeah, because you didn't have any growing up, and so you couldn't wrap your head around like, I have value strictly as myself.
Yeah.
Wow, that is incredibly interesting. I actually really relate to that in the sense that I did not receive any attention from women at all until I really started working on myself.
Yeah.
And so I kind of see everything. My value is in what I've made, not in who I am.
Yeah, and I feel like even when I first met you, you hadn't had it figured out yet.
No, my dick wouldn't get hard. The listeners know.
Yes, we have heard.
Oh, they're familiar.
A lot about the dinky not working. And yeah, I mean, it's like I saw you kind of develop a brand, and then it's like once you gotta like be a thing for people to find value in you.
Well, I think as a man in particular, we're very much, we are kind of judged on what we bring to the table. Not that I don't mean to go all fucking Andrew Tate or whatever, but there is a certain amount of like, you have to have some, you can't just be a hot guy who like skateboards.
No.
And like, is in a band. Like at some point you do have to have a little value. And I think, especially as comedians, we figure that out later than earlier, because most of our friends they figure that out and they become like a doctor or some fucking shit.
Yeah, that is it.
Which, God bless those people.
Should have done it.
Yeah.
I was close.
Your dad was a doctor,
Yeah.
correct?
Yeah, I was the one in our family that was supposed to do it.
Oh, I'm gonna have to ask you about this, Tommy. What is that like?
Well, it was years of disappointment.
And then now finally,
it was. It's crazy. I mean, I love my dad to death, but he is definitely the source of a lot of my insecurities, because we look a lot alike. We have very similar mindsets, behaviors, all this addictions, and like, and then like in college, he put it together and became a doctor,
right?
And I went to the same school and immediately started failing pre-med. I mean, legitimately had an F in organic chemistry, and I called my parents and I was like, I gotta drop out. I mean, if I take this F, you know how you have like the chance to drop the class and then you don't get it? Yeah. I was like, if I take this F, I'm going to be in school for 14 years because I'll never get into med school. So I think I got to do it. And they were like, it's not great to be a failure. It's like they were not like, yeah, we're on board.
Well, then you're like, and get this, my new plan.
Dude, I was an accounting major. I graduated, went into sales, and then I was like, wait, stand-up comedy could be a much safer route.
Right, yeah. Now, did you always feel as a child that you were going to be pursuing stand-up, or when did that come around?
No, but
I've got to be honest, before you go any further, I'm so fascinated by you, Tommy.
Really?
I find your youth and what you've like, you're just, you're such an amalgamation of so many different things that I find interesting.
Well, I'm trying to figure it all out. But
sorry, but go ahead there.
It's, I appreciate it. I think some of it probably stems from the same place, because you had a crazy religious upbringing.
Yeah.
I didn't have a crazy religious one, but we were Catholic. But like, I think that big family thing is like a similar culty vibe.
Right.
It's like, we were so ingrained in each other's lives and everything, and so much of your dynamic when you're a kid is the people around you, obviously, and I was fighting for attention my whole life. Everyone in my family was.
Right.
And we're kind of split down the middle. We went like 4 of us went the route of like, we need attention. Let's find careers or hobbies or things that get us attention.
Right.
And like the other 4 went like full introvert. I'm chill with not getting attention because I never did growing up.
Oh, that is so interesting.
Yeah. So like, but when I was 8, my sisters made me audition for this musical at a community theater near us, and
it is a miracle you are not a gay man.
It's crazy. And also, let the record show, the jury's out on it.
Right, yeah, sorry. I didn't mean to.
I got plenty of life left.
No homo.
Yeah, I'm not trying to put myself in a box.
Preach.
Quite figuratively. Or literally.
Yeah.
But I got like the lead in this musical when I was 8 years old, got an agent from it. And then I was like, oh, I like this.
Right.
I like this. It was like kind of a comedic musical. So I think that's like the root of it. Because then I stayed in theater throughout my whole life, let it go in college. I was like, now it's time to be a doctor, failed. Now it's time to be an accountant, failed. Now maybe I go into sales. And then I got into this job post-grad, and I was like, oh, is the rest of my life just sales and then working out and going home and watching Netflix? And I had a little bit of a meltdown, if you will. And one of my dear friends, Nelson, who you met this weekend.
Great guy. Shout out to the boys.
We had a very serious talk where we were just like, he was like, you got to go try something else. And I moved to Chicago and started stand-up.
Unbelievable. I mean, what an absolute hero's journey. And now look at you.
Now I'm here. I'm more successful in comedy than I've ever been. I've never been broker. Also, it's how it goes. But
at least you're sleeping at night. I too am broken. I can barely close my eyes just thinking about it.
Man, I've been struggling with sleep, and this happened to me this 2 weekends ago, or maybe a month ago. I was moving out of LA, and I was doing this podcast with these people. And I was talking about how I'm having trouble sleeping because it's like just the anxiety, and I'm trying to get away from like just weed to sleep because I was doing that for I'm still doing that.
Me too.
For, like,
crippling
to sleep, and this guy was like, "Well, just take here. I have like I think it's Klonopin."
Yeah.
And he's like, "Just take one of these. It'll help." And I was like, "I don't love that." Like he just like took it out of his prescription bottle and gave me like 4 of them, and I split one in half and took it that night. And I slept for 12 hours straight.
Hey, I've had a couple of Klonopins in my day.
Dude, it freaked me out. Because I went right to bed and I slept for, I mean, not kidding,
like a
12
baby.
hours. Woke up though, and I was like, I think I could keep sleeping.
Yes.
And then I was like, is this how this guy lives?
Yes,
like,
precisely.
I mean, it's a full-on shut down the factory at the end of the day. The lights are off, and we can't start because of union rules until 10 a.m. tomorrow.
You know what I think is crazy when people are like, I get on the flight, I pop a Xanax, I fall asleep. I go, you take Xanax in the middle of the day? I'm like, bro,
that's the rest of the day look like.
Yeah, like, that's a hard trick. You get off in the airport, you can't feel your legs just to take a nap, bro. You're struggling mentally.
Yeah. I'm like, Jesus, at this point, booze is looking like a pretty safe solution.
Yeah. No, I've always had to, that's why I've been smoking pot my whole life to fall asleep, and it is crippling. It's like when I go on the road and shit, like I have to like plan out where to find weed or whatever.
Just travel with it.
Even then, it's like sometimes I smoke it all before the trip's over. Yeah. You know, I fucking had a weed pen with me when I was in Boston, and I lost it and didn't sleep for 2 nights.
Actually, in Boston, I've asked people on stage. I'm gonna level with you guys. If anyone has weed, please.
Yeah, I need to go to bed tonight.
Works, here's the thing: 10 out of 10 times it works.
Yeah. There is always some dirtbag selling a little kush to you to make you make you feel like a place ain't so bad. Well, interesting. Yeah, it's a sleep especially is one of these things where I find I've struggled with my whole life, and it comes from overthinking. It comes from a lot of like ADDS tendencies where my brain just goes from a catastrophic scenario to like horny to doing.
Isn't it wild?
Oh my god!
You can simultaneously be thinking about how you won't be able to pay rent in 4 days and be rocked up. It's so insane.
Boy, if that ain't the truth.
It's so crazy. And sometimes I think it might help the fear, you know?
I'll literally be like, holy shit, I'm gonna starve to death. And I wonder what Riley Reid is doing right now. The listeners also know I'm struggling with a serious porn addiction that I am desperately trying to overcome, and I'm 4 days free.
Really?
4 days off porn?
Well, what does an addiction look like with porn? Like, how often are you watching?
I mean, really just at night, but I'm cranking my meat to porn every day. It's like, we can't be doing that.
Yeah.
We can't be
I will
like
say
that.
I've heard some more frightening tales of porn addiction.
Certainly, yeah.
Like people who watch it for hours because... They're like not to jerk off the whole time.
Yeah, that's completely unacceptable.
That is horrifying.
And I'll be honest with you, I've been there before.
Okay.
When I was maybe like 17, though, where you
that's more. I think that's more fascination.
Right. Yeah. Man, when I first found porn, I was like, swear to God,
dude. Man, I don't know if I should tell. Oh yeah,
tell
this is just
story.
So embarrassing. And it's something me and my mother have never discussed. So I hope she doesn't listen to this. Although my family in general, finds a way to find time to listen to every podcast.
Oh,
I
so
ever
does
do.
mine,
So
yeah.
they'll hit me up. Hey, I listened to you on Joe Schmo's podcast. I'm like, what are you doing? He has 12 weekly listeners. Why are you listening?
My parents listen to this too. My mom will DM me and be like, I don't like what you said about eating that girl's pussy. I'm like, babe, get off the phone.
Stop listening. Or at least pretend you didn't. But when I was like, I don't know, I was probably like 13 or something. I hadn't really found porn or anything yet, but I was reading a Cosmo in the bathroom of my parents' home. And there was this section that was talking about like ways to spice it up in the bedroom. And it was all about shower sex, which looking back, it was terrible advice.
Right,
I
of
think we've
course.
all established now shower sex is very mid.
Yeah.
But it was like shower sex, like finish on the rug, like it was like graphic shit.
Pull out the curtain.
And I was so bricked up reading this Cosmo. And I went straight to the family computer, was home alone, and I Googled sex in the shower.
Holy shit.
And I thought I covered my bases with deleting history and stuff. But the next morning, I'm getting ready for school, and my mom comes into the kitchen. I'm alone in there, and she goes, You can't be Googling sex in the shower. And I turned around, and I looked at her, and I tried to come up with an excuse, and she doubled down. She goes, I mean, shower sex, like, what is that? And I'm not kidding you, I fainted.
No.
My body went unconscious.
No.
I fainted on the spot.
No.
If that doesn't explain Catholic shame, I don't know what does.
You collapsed?
I went down, full unconscious. Woke up to my mom and my sister lifting my legs in the air.
No.
Being like, come to.
No.
Got out of it though. Got out of a pretty tough
Right,
conversation.
yeah, he goes, sorry, babe, no further questions.
You want that to happen again? I'll play dead like a possum right now.
You catch your son cranking it, he just collapses onto the ground.
Yeah,
You're like, did I
dude.
kill my baby boy?
Isn't that amazing? My body was just like,
Oh,
we
that
don't
is
have an
hilarious.
answer to this.
Just goodbye.
See ya.
Dude, my mom, she used to do the thing where I would just be looking up porn. My mom would be like, hey, cut that shit out. And I'd be like, sorry, babe, we ain't stopping. So eventually she put like a
Parent controls or whatever.
on the computer or whatever, tell you what you look at or whatever. First day she puts that thing on there, I go, I got news for you. I got the password off her computer, watched a bunch of porn, beat my dick all night. Next day I'm in the car with my mom and my friend. My mom goes, I know you were watching porn last night. And I go, Mom, I'm gonna be watching porn. Sometimes you gotta assert your dominance.
How many siblings do you have?
Me and my brother and a sister, so 2.
Okay. I was gonna say that's more of an only child vibe.
Right, yeah.
Is to just level with your parents.
Yeah.
But are you the oldest?
I'm the middle.
You're middle. Okay. What was your older sibling like?
My brother, he was also a little devious guy. I called him.
So had he fucked up plenty?
No, but my younger sister was fucking up like crazy
There it
from
is,
a young
yeah.
age. Yeah. I was like the goofball in the middle, being like, everybody relax.
Yes,
I'm a
I was kind of the
goofball."
same.
Being a goofball, again, we do preach being a goofball on this podcast, but it has ruined my life in a lot of ways where a lot of people don't take me seriously, and I would like to be taken seriously.
Yeah. Yeah, I noticed that with like well, now it's friends that are more successful than me.
Yeah.
You know, like, or just friends that have traditional careers and incomes.
Right.
And the things that they will pay for in my place, it's like it'll be like an $8 thing.
Right.
And they're like, let me get this. And the way they say it, I'm like, hey, I'm not like gonna die tomorrow
Right.
without you.
Right. It's like a granola bar.
Yeah, dude, I'm like, have a tiny bit of respect for me. I appreciate where this is coming from, but you just gave me so much insight into where you think I'm at.
Yeah, but it will pay off, and they will look at you one day and go, "Wow, I can't believe it fucking worked."
Yeah.
Even now, my friends are like, it's all fake, but everyone does. It does seem like I'm doing better than I am, and
Yeah, you're
it's-
doing great, dude.
Yeah, right back at you, Tommy. We're absolutely thriving, and
Yeah.
sorry to dominate life yet again, folks.
Whoops.
Tommy, what was the hit me with the other fashion accusation you were about to
Well,
level against
here's the
me.
thing: is you are my most fashionable friend, at least in comedy.
Right, not in real life. That's for sure. I can't afford clothes.
But 2 of my best friends in the world were visiting New York this weekend, the day I moved here, and they're 2 of the more fashion-forward people I know.
They were dressed nice.
One is like a hype beast Korean from the Bronx.
He's a hype beast Korean.
Yeah, and he's like, he was a sneakerhead in high school and like, flipped shoes for his whole life. And
He looked like a guy in
he's-
flip shoes. No disrespect
absolutely.
to Rich.
Oh my God, love him to death. Rich Park, one of my favorite people of all time. He's still flipping shoes. I mean, he does this shit. And he knows anything I buy that I think is like ahead of the game. He's like, you're late and all this shit. And then my other friend, Nelson, he's a black dude from Chicago and lives in the Bay Area and is constantly at the just forefront of black fashion. And I go, wait till you see my buddy Tucker. He is the most fashionable guy I know. And you showed up to the bar in just a tee and jeans.
Oh,
and you went to get a drink and I go, before you say it, I know.
Oh, no.
I know you didn't really bring it.
When it was hot out, again, it's the summer.
But you had shot me a text that day. You said, where are we going tonight? Might wear something cute.
Well, you know what I did? I made the huge mistake of getting incredibly stoned right before I left. So then I changed outfits like 19 times in the mirror. And I just like freaked out and I was like, I have to leave.
Oh my
and so
God.
But it was also hot. No, to be honest with you, I kind of knew I wasn't bringing the heat.
Yeah, you didn't.
It was like a vintage tee with a little crop on it to show off the body,
It was okay, but they were wearing cool stuff. And I was like, damn, Tucker's in third place right now.
Rich did have a little nice Mercedes hat on with the 44 on it. I had nothing but respect for that.
Yeah.
Again, the summer is hard for me, and also I am completely out of money, and my wardrobe is becoming outdated, and I can't really afford to re-up it yet.
Yeah, I'm in the same boat. You see what I threw on today? I couldn't find anything else.
At the end of the day, what it really is all this shit really is just putting forth a little bit of effort. I mean, I'm in a white tee, you're in that. We look better than most of these fat fucking idiots out there. No disrespect to the fellas. You know we fucking love you.
Yeah, I love you to death.
Okay, now one more question before we get into the listener questions here, Tommy. So you grew up Catholic. You grew up around a lot of women, et cetera, et cetera. When do you think that you kind of stepped into your own? I know you said a little bit in college. When do you think you shook that and sort of maybe became your own man there?
Dude, it was late. Like
you said senior year you were hitting puberty.
I mean, everything in college, everything I did through graduating college was because I thought I was supposed to, which I think is not insanely unique to me. I think that's most people, that's what we're doing, getting through. You know, every stage of your life, you have the next thing planned. You have high school, and then you have got to get into a college, got to figure out what to major in, got to graduate, got to figure out if I'm doing job or grad school, whatever.
Right.
And then all of a sudden, when you're done with that, it's like, well, no one's telling you what to do anymore. I mean, the amount to which I mimicked my father.
That's kind of what I was getting at.
Is crazy. I mean, he was senior class president at Notre Dame. I was senior class president.
That's kind of what I was getting at. I'm glad you're touching base here.
Everything I did, it was because everyone told me my dad did it, and he's great, and he is great, and I should do the same.
Right.
Now, comedy is definitely where I had a fun mix where I had a fun job out of college when I was in Chicago and doing comedy. So I had money, and I could pursue this insane hobby at the time
and keep a balance of feeling okay.
Yeah, I was feeling, because I still had like I could kind of put my parents have just now accepted that I'm going to be a comedian for the rest of my life.
Right.
After they've seen big shows, they've seen me open for people they know, they've seen me get stuff. They still, my mom will ask me when I'm going to quit.
Right.
And
tale as old as time.
When I had that good job and I was doing comedy, that's when I started kind of being my own man, because I was like, well, I have the job. You don't get to worry about me.
Yeah.
Because I have the job. And then I was like, most of my brain, I was like, but it is going to be comedy the whole time. But I have this job, I have health insurance, whatever. And so that kind of put those worries, those parental worries to rest, or the family pressure. And I got to just start finding out who I was. And then honestly, like the last 2.5 years of just being full time is like when I've really felt like I was like living.
Right.
You know?
Well, and the reason I like to ask that is, again, this is the Practical Advice for Weird Little Guys podcast. And one thing we always preach on here, we always preach relentless persistence of whatever you're in pursuit of, but also not being afraid to be your own fucking man despite all the things stacked up against you and all the things people will tell you not to do, and going, fuck that, I'm going to be me.
Yeah.
And I really respect that you've done that, Tom, because you have every right to, you could have just been a doctor and enjoyed your life and had a nice Mercedes and probably fucked some absolutely beautiful woman who would have hated your guts after a few years because you're never home to take care of the children.
Instantly.
So I do have to say I am proud of you for following that path. And fellas, again, don't be afraid to be relentlessly persistent of being yourself.
Have to.
Tip number one.
That's the thing I think we hate most about ourselves often, is the things we are not allowing ourselves to do.
Yes, and I feel like probably the biggest struggle in my life when I was young was like trying to be okay with who I was, and like I put on all these different masks. I honestly feel sort of like you're saying, really only in the past few years have I been like, okay, I am done pretending to be something, and I'm just gonna be me on stage in real life. It is sort of like the ultimate journey of a man is to really just go, hey, I'm me, and deal with it. You know?
Well, and it sucks because we're so like you have to have success at anything to like have the support of people.
Yeah.
And so when being yourself means like taking this career risk or whatever it is, it's hard before you have any amount of success to be like, no, and it was a good choice.
Yeah.
You know? And so now like, yeah, once you find a little bit of a groove or some traction, you're like, oh shit, like not being a fake person with 12 personalities is paying off more than that ever did.
So
I mean,
true.
we have a nickname for me with Business Tom that gets used a lot.
Right,
I mean, I was straight up,
Business,
I
I
had
forgot
two
about
personalities for the first half of my 20s because I was very good at the corporate world, but it wasn't who I was. And so I still get, Tim will text me, hey, I need Business Tom for a second.
Well, I think that's what, that's what I mean by I'm so interested by you, because you've had this incredibly traditional, but not so traditional upbringing where, but you've kind of taken the complete opposite road. And I'm always so fascinated by people who made that decision and just sort of the motivation.
We can go 1 for 8,
right.
in our family.
Somebody's
one can be a fuck up.
Yeah, someone's got to be a goofball.
Yeah.
There's a goofball in every group.
Absolutely.
Absolutely incredible. Tom, I swear to God, we're in episode 10? We've literally never missed with a guest yet, and we certainly will at some point, and y'all will never know when, because I will lie and say how incredible is that. But this one was yet another absolute fucking heater, folks. Tom, you're so fucking funny, and I'm so proud of you. No homo.
Likewise, dude.
Now,
a little bit homo.
Let's get into the absolute motherfucking listener questions.
Yes.
And folks, I say it every week. Please start writing in again. You guys have really started to bail on me a little, and I absolutely understand. And especially, ladies, I'm talking to you. We got a couple questions from the fellas this week and a few from the ladies, but I need more from women because at the end of the day, the only reason I do anything is to talk to women.
Yes.
So, on that note, let's go ahead and get into a listener questionnaire here, Tom, and this one is hilarious. This guy says, "What's up, boys? My girlfriend of 3 years borrowed $2,000 from me for our trip to Europe. That was about 6 months ago, and every time I've asked for some repayment, she has an excuse. It's weird because I am the guy in the relationship, and I don't want to be like, hey, where's my money? But also, it is $2,000. What would y'all do?"
Oh.
I was gonna say, bro, you're down $2,000 and you ain't getting it back, brother.
Yeah, I mean, that's gone because at what point, like, you can't keep bringing it up and it like without it having an impact on your relationship.
Yeah, she's a genius. She wins.
Yeah, she's just saying this relationship is gonna be over in about 30 minutes anyways.
Can you imagine being like, hey, babe, I know I said it last week, but I do need $2,000.
Like,
how embarrassing.
Also, borrowed for a vacation is interesting because it sounds like you guys shouldn't have gone on that vacation.
Precisely. That's
like, I think you got to either be like, hey, we can go on a trip to Europe and I have this amount of money, you have this amount of money, this is how much we can spend and we'll make it work. Or go to the Wisconsin Dells.
That's what I was going to say, bro. I was going to be like, whatever you spent $2,000 on should have been about $250,
Yes.
my guy. Go to a water park, ride a fucking roller coaster, take her ass home.
Between us, $2,000 is not a small amount of money, but also vacation-wise, it's not a huge amount of money.
That's what I was thinking.
It's not worth ruining your life over.
I was reading that and I was like, why the fuck would you lend $2,000? I was like, where you going, Positano? It's like, that's not even fucking $2,000.
I mean, it sounds like if you guys aren't at a place where you can be honest about money with each other, you also shouldn't be taking these trips.
Yeah, and I will say also, I mean, make no mistake, if a woman owes you money, you ain't getting that shit back.
No. Because what are you going to withhold sex from her?
You're like, you either give me $2,000 or I'm gonna stop slinging this cock
She's
your
like,
way.
absolutely no problem. I got a fucking Neuron 5000 under the bed that I can take out.
She's like, I got a vibrator that could be part of the military-industrial complex. I think I'll be fine.
It was developed in Berlin in 48.
Women now do just have vibrators where I'm like, if you send that to fucking Israel, I will protest it. You know? I'm like, would you fucking relax, babe? That is, I do want to touch on vibrators. Fellas, we have shot an episode on the show about this, but you gotta, this has nothing to do with the advice for this guy, but it is funny to talk about. You guys gotta start whipping out vibrators. We're done trying to make chicks come with our cocks.
Yeah, well, that's never been
That's never even an option.
I'm a finger guy, but I am purely like and now it's back because I'm in a relationship, so it's like falling into routine, and I can already tell it's getting old. But like, I am a purely get her there first with hands,
bro,
and then we can fuck,
bro. Me and you,
because then the guilt is gone.
I don't think ever in my life I've made a chick come with my dick. To be
No, I've had quite a few lie to me, but I don't think it's ever truly happened.
When I found out about vibrators, I was like, okay.
Yeah.
It doesn't matter what I do now.
No, the first girl who's like, do you mind if I use it during? I was like, yeah. I mean, no. Yeah, please get it out here. Where has it been?
You know how many poor women have had my half's hard cock and I'm going, oh yes, I think I'm coming.
Oh my God, dude.
But when they pull out that fucking ballistic missile y'all got in the nightstand, there's no lying to me, babe.
It's amazing.
That's actually some great advice, fellas. Pull out that fucking vibrator and get to it.
Involved.
Yeah, and the advice to you, my guy, sorry we got sidetracked there.
Oh, yeah.
You lost $2,000. Move on with your life, and hope she doesn't.
Yeah, I guess if I'm taking this seriously, try to evaluate whether $2,000 is like impactful on how you'll feel about her for the rest of your life. Or if this is like a long-term thing, then $2,000 should be nothing. If this is like we might be done soon, then you might want to just chalk that up as a loss, write it off on the taxes, and move on.
That's actually great advice. And to be honest, if you've got $2,000 you're willing to borrow to somebody, I think you're fine.
Yeah, or you're terrible with money. Yeah, that was like your last $2,000, and it's like, stop taking trips to
just come to Italy with me, babe, please. Yeah. Okay, well, yeah, sorry, buddy. I hope that helped. Probably didn't. Whatever.
If they break up, he's gonna be like, "Hey, I need that sweatshirt back, and also $2,000."
Yeah. I need to buy a new Honda Miata or whatever the fuck I'm driving. All right, here's another great question. I love this because it is from a lady, and ladies, just know every time you write in, you will have your question answered no matter what, because we do prioritize women on this show.
Amen.
This woman says, Tucker, and she's a little upset. She says, Tucker, how do I find a good guy? Literally just one, comma, please. Every man I go out with only wants to fuck. Every man I go out with only wants to fuck and then leave. I feel used constantly. I am getting older, and being a slut is no longer an option. Thanks. Love the pod. Shout out to you, lady.
Damn.
I get this.
It's tough to hear it from the ladies.
Man, I thought the same thing.
Yeah, because I'm like, I hear this from my guy friends all the time, and I'm like, shut up. It's fine. It's a nightmare to be a woman. You know, you got to just figure it out. But, man, to hear like...
Oh, I thought the same thing.
Oh, that's tough. Here's my instinctual thought is go meet a guy in real life. Like, if you're a decent looking lady, go out and find the guy that's hanging with his friends.
Right.
That's not being an absolute loser and a creep to women at whatever public space you're in, and talk to that guy.
Right. And, you know, the most asked question on the show is both from men and women. How do I meet women in person? And women going, why don't men meet me in person? So
wow.
It's been asked, no lie, every single
We've been
week.
ruined by the internet.
Yeah, and everyone is going, I'm so sick of the men I'm meeting and the person I'm meeting. And it is, in person is a better read on the character. You can definitely tell a lot quicker and easier.
And it's just, it's a better read on like what they will do with this. Like DMs, even if it's not on a dating app, if it's Instagram, like DMs can be so calculated.
Yeah, I am
you
ferocious.
You have no idea.
Yeah,
I mean, it's like you have no idea who you're dealing with or how many people they're talking to or what they want out of it. But I think there is inherent. Do you think this is fair to say? Like, if I'm DMing a lady who has slid in, I'm not thinking this could be a long-term relationship.
Well, that is the damn truth. I'm not sure I've ever thought that in my whole life.
Like, I think just that pretext of like, we're sliding into DMs, and there's people that have met their partners or whatever online, and it has worked, but I think there's an inherent thing. Yeah, it's hookup culture is so ingrained in the dating apps and Instagram. Go talk to someone in real life. And that being said, I have no idea how to do that. And
I actually have a huge tip, and this is something I'm really believe in. If you really want to meet like a good guy, this is what you gotta do. You have to find the men who are not trying to trick you into pussy.
Mm-hmm.
The sign of a bad guy is someone who's like tricking you into fucking him. The guys you can trust are dudes who are very upfront and honest kind of about who they are and what they're after. And yeah, maybe they're not giving you what you want, but they're not going to be bad people about it. I find the men who are like, making up some elaborate story to like get your attention or something, and are like, those are the ones who end up being creeps and shit.
Yeah, because that's a game they're playing, and like a training that we all kind of go through. Is like, what's your thing that makes you attractive to women right now? Go, and it's like, I along the same note, it's like, make friends, like have a good friend group,
right?
And especially if you're in a city that's social, like New York, I can't imagine doing the apps here or anything like that, because I know it's
hell on earth.
You're fighting that fight. It's like there's too many people. Anyone you date here is dating 12 people. Yeah. So have some friends, get to know some people, and then maybe that turns into something, or someone knows someone. I love the idea of getting set up by a mutual friend, and it has never worked for me. But I love that idea.
I do very well with the mutual friends, low-key. I'm sort of the mutual friend guy. They go, I got this little quirky fucking nut job that might eat your pussy for 30 minutes if you let him.
Yes, but that's just because his dick doesn't work. But it is.
He's going to have to eat it.
He is going to do it.
Yeah, I mean, I do feel, and I want to touch on what Tom said up top. I do feel for you. I think reading that as a man does kind of make me go, damn, that is tough as a woman to just constantly be feeling used, and you're dealing with all these guys who are trying to fool you and like playing these games with your emotions just so they can touch your fucking pussy. And I know that's fucked up and wrong. And I just want to say that I do feel compassion for you. And like he said, try and meet some people in real life and look for men who are upfront, honest. And if you see signs of him tricking you into getting pussy, that is the biggest red flag of them all.
Yeah, don't. This is not like a sex shaming thing, because if you're just trying to fuck whenever you want, fuck whoever you want, but don't fuck on the first date if you're trying to. And that's not just for women. That was a practice I was going by for a little while.
What?
I just like wouldn't, if I met someone out, I wouldn't have sex the first night if I thought it could maybe be something.
And just like that, folks, Tommy comes out of the closet.
Yes, just like that. Yeah. Well, some of them were dudes, but it's like if fucking right away takes away so much of the shit on both sides.
Really?
And it can be good, but it can also just be like, oh, that's all either of us wanted, or that's all one of us wanted, and then it's just there's this thing that's gone. That you're like, now do we like start a relationship from that? I don't know.
Can I say
on the
that
second night?
I will say when I fuck on the first night, one big thing for me is I have to have sexual compatibility. And so if we just get right to it, I'm much more like likely to text you back if we have sexual compatibility.
Go home, make out, do hand stuff.
Right. Maybe
sleep
no full
together.
penny.
Just don't fuck.
Right. God damn, I do love full penny though. Shout out to it.
Amazing.
And
it's
ladies,
the best thing on earth.
quit doing it. Quit giving it up so fast, you fucking whores. Just kidding.
Just kidding. We
We're
love
kidding.
you.
You know we
but
love
yeah,
you.
that does suck for women.
Yeah, and I do feel for you. And again, men are pigs, and you are absolutely correct about that. We do be misbehaving.
Yes.
Here's another great one. This is actually one someone wrote in a couple weeks ago, and I wasn't ready to answer it. Now I'm feeling a little better about it.
Oh, let's go.
This guy says, "Hey Tucker, weird little newly sober guy writing in. Any advice on meeting chicks without drinking? I'm finding it nearly impossible. Thanks, love the show." And the reason I wanted to wait, because at the time I was sober and I did not know what to do.
Yeah.
Now looking back, I got to be honest with you, bro. I still don't know what to do.
Damn, I thought you had a really good
no,
take.
No.
Dude, I'm in the same. I think it's half of what keeps me drinking is the social lubricant of it all.
Yeah.
But I've experimented with sober stuff too, and it's. I mean, you just have to not put yourself in a place where it's feels awkward to not be drinking. Also, like, I think now if you just like are honest about it, if you're upfront about it,
yeah,
so many people are sober now.
Yeah,
they've dealt with it. You guys can figure it out. It takes one maybe awkward first conversation.
Yeah. And then, you do get to see like a titty in the daytime most, because a lot of time you're going on coffee dates and shit. There's like nice things. I did hook up with one woman while I was sober, and we went to dinner, and that was nice. It's like a it's basically drinks, but without the drinks. Sober sex is weird, and I don't have a lot of it, and only when I'm in a relationship. So it's very odd to do that with someone that you're not in a relationship with, and just be like looking someone dead in their fucking eyeballs while you go full penny.
Wait, have you hooked up with someone after a coffee date?
Never coffee, no.
Oh, okay, yeah.
That's my dream.
Do you think people are doing that?
Bro, so I asked a bunch, so one of the reasons I did want to wait is I asked some sober people about this, and they were like, that's what they do. They go get coffee and they go, fuck. But I'm like, what do? You go, that was a great latte. Will you suck my cock in the bathroom? Like, what?
Now that we're a little bit more awake.
Yeah. Now that you're more aware of who I am and what I'm intending to do
wow.
here. Yeah, man, that is tough. What I really want to say for real, and this is actually real ass advice, because I do not, and I think this is a big regret I have, don't let pussy be the reason you start drinking again, because that's the reason I started drinking again, and I do regret it, because to be honest, I'm not getting that much pussy that you're not missing anything.
And it's I mean, this is a sober person now, so I'm sure you're figuring this out, but every time you're sober, you're like, oh yeah, I'm figuring out who I am as a person again.
Yeah.
I'm figuring out how I behave socially when I don't have all of the guardrails off, or the excuse to just say whatever I want or whatever under the guise of drinking. So it's like, I don't know, you're gonna figure out a little bit more who you are.
Yeah.
And you'll be a little more confident in that. And then you'll have, just do the coffee dates. Have a couple of good stories that you have in the pocket.
Yeah.
And
then boom, and then you'll meet some woman who's sober, and to be honest with you, these women who are sober got that dog in them.
Because there's a vice still.
Yeah, they gotta fill that hole.
It's under the bed, and it's close to being sent to Israel. But
okay, incredible. And last question here, and this one is hilarious. I want to know who wrote this in. This was an anonymous email. This guy says, hey, Tucker, wrong one. He says, Tucker, loved your take on summer fashion for fat guys on the last ep. Not a fat guy, but I do sweat a lot. He says, what are your thoughts on carrying around a sweat towel in the back pocket?
I'll say this, it's a look.
It's a look, brother.
If you can pull that look off, I have nothing but respect for you.
I'll tell you, if you can do it, if Steve Harvey can do it, you can do it, brother.
May I suggest a stick of native deodorant maybe first?
Yeah.
Or something. I have a little mini deodorant stick that I'll keep like in a backpack or something.
Oh, that's
like that.
smart. Yeah.
You have to.
I mean, going whole towel is such a crazy move. I would say only if you're at an amusement park, but also.
I don't know. I'm picturing kind of like a cool guy who has almost like a mechanic look.
Right.
If you can rock the towel, people might be like, "Holy shit, is that a sweat towel?" And you're like, "Yeah."
And you're like not on stage. You're just at the Home Depot or whatever.
It goes back to what you said about fat fashion. Nothing but love for the fatties out there. I love you guys.
We love fat people.
When there's nothing. I think it's very attractive when especially a fella. I don't know. I shouldn't have said that. We'll cut that. But,
they all think I'm gay. You're gay. Whatever.
But a chubby guy who's confident, you don't it's not like you see you don't go like, oh well, that's a fat guy with confidence. It's just like that's a confident guy.
Precisely.
So I think the same could be said for a sweaty guy. If you own it and you're like, yeah, sorry, I sweat a lot. I got a towel. I think it'll be a fun party trick.
Yeah.
I think it's maybe someone spills something and you're like, oh shit, look at this. I got my sweat towel here, babe.
You hook up with a chick, you bust a nut, you go clean it up with your sweat. I mean, you're equipped for all occasions.
Here we go.
Bro. Yeah, to be honest, I personally would never, but it's like we said at the top, my guy, if you're a sweat towel guy, be a sweat towel guy.
Yeah, just own it. Have a thing. Honestly, that's like one of the few things that could make you unique in this day and age.
I was also thinking, I was like, God damn it, how much are you sweating where you're like, I got to start bringing a
Yeah,
towel.
because I suggested deodorant. He's like, dude, if you think I haven't thought about deodorant, you're an idiot. He's like, I'm dripping from my face.
I was like, Jesus Christ, some boys got it hard. But yeah, man, rock that sweat towel if you want. Some women will think you're a fucking nut job for it, but some women will think you're a nut job if you didn't have one.
Just be confident. It's going to be awesome.
Yeah, and that's the motherfucking deal. Folks, just another incredible episode. We are officially 10 for 10 on amazing episodes. Tommy, you're the absolute GOAT. A sexy guy who's fucking hilarious. Plug your shit up top. Tell these people where you're at. I'm going to put it right here.
All right. I'm at Some Kid Tommy on all socials, somekidtommy.com for tour dates. I'm coming to Raleigh, North Carolina.
Oh, one of the great cities in America.
Yeah,
we love Raleigh.
You probably got some folks there.
I got you. I'll put up
unless
a
no
promo.
one back home supports you. But
Precisely.
I'm touring all over the place. I've got a podcast with your previous guest, Tim Smith. He didn't plug the podcast, but I will. It's called Roommates in Law. It's one of the greatest podcasts of all time.
Plug that right
And
there.
yeah, listen and follow and come to a show. And can I say, in a moment of sincerity, you're one of the funniest people I know, and I'm very excited to be living in New York City with you.
And Tommy, I got to say it right back at you, in a moment of sincerity as well. I really just think you're destined for stardom, no homo, and I think you're so fucking funny. And every day I'm kind of amazed at just how far you've come. No homo.
Thanks, dude.
Let's fucking go.
Let's go.
And also, we're going to be living together soon, but
yeah.
How about that? Folks, you know the deal. Shout out to all the Jews, Arabs, straights, gays, trans, everyone but the Zionists.
Yes.
Free Palestine. Thank you for tuning in. Joe Rogan, you could never. We get you in, we get you out. And boys and girls, we'll see you next week.